everyone. Make your way into the sanctuary. Let's begin with prayer. God, we thank you so much for another day to be able to come and sing of your praises. God, we thank you for the privilege that we have to come and to gather and to sing your name. Pray that you would help us to not treat it as something ordinary, something that's just an obligation. Help remind us what an awesome privilege it is to be able to get together and to lift up your name. We love you so much, God. You are so worthy of everything we give today and so much more, God. We thank you so much. We love you, Jesus.
Oceans open wide, your fire falls down, heaven and earth collide. King Jesus, forever by my side. Shake the mountains, break the walls apart, open the heavens. Almighty God, you are overcomer, defender of my heart. Oceans open wide, your fire falls down, heaven and earth collide. King Jesus, forever by my side. Oh, shake the mountains, break the walls apart, open the heavens. Almighty God, you are overcomer, defender of my heart. Power Jesus, forever by my side.
Your power,
Your presence breaks strongholds of heaven. When you speak, mountains move. I believe there will be breakthrough. Your power, your presence breaks strongholds of heaven. When you speak, mountains move. I believe there will be breakthrough.
there will be breakthrough. Shake the mountains and break the walls apart.
Open the heavens, Almighty God, you are overcomer, defender of my heart.
And
By your power, the oceans open wide, your fire falls down, heaven and earth collide. King Jesus, forever by my side. By my side.
This morning I'd like to take some time and just reflect on what the words we're singing. Make them a prayer. Sing them in your head, whatever you need to do to really take in and not just let them go over your head today. You know, a lot of us are taking part in fast this month. A lot of us are seeking, pressing in. So today I'd like you to really internalize these words. Let them speak to you. Don't let them just fall to the ground. And mean what you say today. Realize what you're saying today. Our next song is talking about honestly needing to be broken and being shredded to pieces. And I wonder if we actually knew what that meant and what that entails if we'd actually say it. So I challenge you today to sing these words and to mean them, and to then be prepared for what comes with those things. Could I let go of all
here's my heart,
Lord,
with all of
its doubts and fears and prayers. 'Cause honestly, I need to be broken. 'Cause honestly, I need to fall down.
Go ahead and shake my foundations. 'Cause honestly, I'm figuring out that of all that I have, all that I need is you. All that I need is you. All that I need is you.
I'm going to teach you guys a new song this morning. We were practicing it this Thursday and discussing it and what it means. And Abel had brought up how it's very psalm-like. As per David's usual, he's slightly dramatic in his wording and talking of how he's so down and out and running to God, and where to turn, where to run when you're so low and so empty. And so I'd like to encourage you to, again, pay attention to these words. They talk about running to a secret place where God is. I encourage you to do whatever you need to do to find that place. Close your eyes. Come to the altar, find a place in the back. Find a place where you can stow away with God for a while and worship Him. Today we also are remembering what He's done for us with communion. What a better place to remember the fulfillment of His promise and what He did for us on the cross than running to the secret place with Him and thanking Him. 'Cause where will you run, my soul? Or where will you go when wells run dry? 'Cause when the wind starts to blow, how you gonna keep this flame alive? Is in the fading, when the night is breaking,
I know you will always be waiting. You'll always be there.
I'm running to a secret place
Where you are, where you are. Still you of all the ways you stole my heart, you stole my heart. 'Cause better is the moment that I spend with you than a million other days away.
streams of abundance flow. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name. When I'm found in the desert place, or I walk through the wilderness, blessed be your name. Sing it like you mean it. 'Cause every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. And when the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Oh, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your name. The sun's shining down on me, and the world's all as it should be. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name. Marked with suffering, though there's pain in the offering. Blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. And when the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say,
Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Oh, blessed be the name of the Lord.
Blessed be your name.
Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name.
You give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. You give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. One more time. You give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. That's our cry today, God. We bless your name. We bless you for all that you've done, who you are, God, your character, your faithfulness, your justice, and your love, God. We thank you so much for your name. We love you. Amen. Amen. Greet someone, say hi to them. We'll be back up here in a few minutes.
As the sun rises on a new day, we reflect on the moments that shaped us, the challenges that tested us, and the joys that filled our hearts. In the ever-changing landscape of life, one thing has remained constant. Our God. He is unchanging and steadfast. He walks with us through every stage of life. As we enter into this new year, we have the privilege of walking with the same mighty God. The same God who made a way when all else felt dark. The same God who is making an eternal home for us. His promises endure, bringing hope and light to every corner of our existence. With each sunrise, His love unfolds anew, guiding us through the uncharted territories of the coming days. As we navigate the unknown, we cling to the certainty that His grace will be our compass, leading us towards a future filled with purpose and direction. We don't know what this year is going to bring, but we do know who is going before us and beside us. As we step into the new year, let us marvel at the wonders around us. Let us find joy in the simple yet profound truth that our God remains the same.
Well, good morning, everybody. Why don't you make your way back into the sanctuary? We'll get the rest of today's service started. I know there's quite a few people missing today because of the weather. It's just the way it is. That's why we have the live stream. We've got a couple of things going on today. I want to get a couple of announcements out of the way first. There is in your bulletin, you'll notice there's a game night coming up. I cannot remember the date off the top of my head. Sorry about that. But what is it? The 19th. If you have any questions, see Alex Davis. And yeah, he can set that up for you. Today, we have a guest speaker that I'll introduce here in a couple of minutes. But actually, you know what? Let's get the offering out of the way first, and then we can talk about all of the fun stuff going on today. Guys, come on forward. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to sow into the work of your kingdom. Lord, we ask you to bless all those who can give here today according to your word. Let this be used to further your gospel influence in this area and throughout the world as we have opportunity. We thank you, Father. Amen. Okay. As they're going around, something I want to make you aware of. Most of you know that last year I went and spent a couple of weeks in Tanzania. Met a wonderful man. We actually are doing our best to try to support them. It's really hard in different African nations to get funds and support because the local governments have a tendency of scooping stuff up and making things really difficult. But that's just the way it is. But what I found out recently is there was the man that we've been working with, Eli Rahema, there was an attempt on his life. Guess what? It's Africa. It's a Muslim nation. It's just the way it works. So he's going through some pretty extensive medical procedures to counteract what was done to him. We'll just leave it at that. The details aren't that important. But medical treatment like that in that part of Africa is not cheap. So I would like to, at some point in time, send some funds over to him to help with that. The American dollar goes a long way in Tanzania. But when you're talking about medical expenses, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. There's just never enough money to do it. And the last thing we want him to do is to get in, unrecoverable debt because of somebody else's actions. Just to remind you, he is the president of the largest evangelical organization in Tanzania. He is the overseer of over 1,000 churches in that nation. So as the church goes, so does the country. If you take my meaning, there's a lot of influence there, and we want to make sure that the right person is in the right place, sailing that ship. If you take my meaning, so be thinking about that. We might we'll mention it to you if you'd like to help send some money over there. Let me know. Don't go to the website or anything like that because there's nothing there for you to do it. But just keep it in the back of your mind because it'd be nice to help him out to the best of our abilities. Okay, with that. Yeah. On the brighter side of things, today there's a cop here speaking. So I need to let you know kind of what's going on. So no, I'm not in trouble. No, hadn't been a threat in my life today. But day's young, and I still got the microphone. So there's options. So one of the things that we've been paying attention to as a church over the years is the need for security. And most of what we do, you never see. And that's the whole point. If you announce your security procedures, they're not very secure. So, by posting the people who put the password for their computer on the top of the screen, because no one will ever know. Yeah, they will. And password is not a good password, just to point that out. Yeah, just unless you work for the government, and that's something different. So what we want to do here is we want to provide for you the safest place possible, because what we don't want to do is to be the "we never thought it would happen here" group. Granted, we're in the middle of nowhere, but at the same time, we're not in the middle of nowhere. Hello, we're pretty easy to find. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to move in a direction where we were increasing our security capability without interfering with what we're doing as a church. We don't want metal detectors on the door and stuff like that. That's just stupid. But we also know, as an eldership and a board, we are not capable of understanding what that threat is or how to manage it in a successful way. So what we did is we reached out to organizations that actually are really good at this. And just so happens, I found out that one of the local guys is a man that I've known for quite some time. So I was pretty happy with that because I know where he lives. And, so what we have with us today is Officer Shane Ryan with the Watertown PD. And he's going to be talking to us today about security and about what to do in various situations. It's great if the leadership knows what to do in God forbid, an active shooter situation, but what about you? What if you don't know what to do? So we want to make sure that we are as equipped as we possibly can to be safe in the house of the Lord. And as much as I've had conversations with people about this and they say, no, God protects, that's fine. Look at the stats, folks. God protects, but people are dumb. So we want to make sure we're as prepared as we can be. So I've known Shane we were talking about it this morning you can come on up, for this is before Samantha and I were married, so it's at least 27 years. So Shane and I got together first with Gen Next Ministries, the traveling youth ministry out of Clayton a long time ago. We would go and we would sing Mercy is Falling until we hated that song. And we would evangelize youth across the area, and then Shane joined the PD. He was also a pastor for a while, so he's familiar with the situation that we're in. And so I want to turn this over to him, and please give him your attention. And Shane, thanks for being here. Awesome, man.
Good morning, good morning. All right, well, thank you. I can tell you just a little bit about my background with this stuff. Listen, here's one thing I know about church. Usually you have like a set schedule, right? You come in at some time and you leave at the same time every week. I don't want to be that guy that keeps you here longer than you're supposed to be. And I don't know what your time is. So I don't know if you normally go for like an hour, if you normally go for like 4 hours or like 20 minutes. So I'm just going to kind of guess and roll with it, and we'll get through this stuff. A little background about who I am. This is really like beyond my technology thing, so this is kind of cool. I've been doing this for about 18 years now. In that time, I do all kinds of things. I'm a member of our SWAT team in the city. I'm a hostage negotiator with the state of New York. I have done juvenile work for a long time, dealing with being the kindergarten cop, if you will. I work with our detectives, our backroom detectives, some of our undercover detectives. I'm our warrants guy. I take care of and deal with overseeing all the sex offender stuff that goes on in the city, all kinds of different things. People ask me, like, what are some of the crazy stuff you've ever been into in the last 18 years? I usually tell people I've been involved in probably everything you've seen in the movies, except I've never jumped out of airplanes or helicopters or jumped from like one rooftop to another. But other than all that, all the other crazy stuff, I have been shot at. I know what it's like to be on the other end of that. I've been involved in just about every kind of situation you can imagine. So I do have a little bit of experience. I do travel around the state teaching this active shooter stuff. And here's my goal when I teach this stuff. And here's what I want you to know. I want you to know that I'm not here to scare anybody, and you already have what you need to get through these situations. Do me a favor, shove your neighbor and say, what you have, come on, give him a shove. We can wake up a little bit. Say, what you have is what you need. What you have is what you need to get through any disastrous situation you will face in life. Listen, you have been being prepared since birth to get through a disastrous situation, and you didn't even realize the tools that you already are skilled with are the tools that you need to get through these situations. Let me tell you a story that I'm pretty sure most of you are going to be very familiar with. There was a king, and his kingdom was under attack by one person. The king did what any good king would do. He sent his entire battle-ready army out to defeat this enemy and protect his kingdom. But when his soldiers went out and faced this one enemy, they were so terrified that they all hid. The king didn't know what to do. He's sitting in his throne room. He's beside himself. His army can't protect him. Who is going to save his kingdom? And all of a sudden, this one person walks into his throne room. This person kind of looked like you. Come on up. This person walks in come on right up here. You can right on the stage. This person walks into the king's throne room kind of like this, and he says, King, I'm your man. I'm going to save the kingdom. The king looks at him like, you? You're going to save the kingdom? The king says, listen, if you want to do this, you definitely can't do it looking like that, because that's not what soldiers wear. That's not what people who save kingdoms wear. You need to wear my gear. Come on over. I brought some gear for you. You got to wear my gear if you're going to protect your kingdom. Go ahead, put that on. Got it? How? This is kind of what the guy said to the king. How do I the king was a good guy, so he said, here, I'll give you a hand. Let me help you with this. Is it heavy? Yeah. your head in there. There. Oh. Oh, yeah, don't break your glasses. Your parents might get mad at me. There. Is that heavy?
A little bit.
Ah, you need this too, because comfy? No. Here, over there, I think they want a picture. So this is what the king did to this guy. He says, listen, you've got to dress like this if you're going to go out and defend our kingdom, because this is what people wear when they're going to battle. This is what people wear when they defeat enemies that come against our kingdom. What'd you say?
Poor them.
That's what the guy said. He said, King, I can't wear this. It's not comfortable, like he said earlier. He's not used to wearing this gear. So you know what he did? You know what he did? He took it off. We'll take it off. The guy took off the gear. You think you can get that off? You need help. That's what they put handles on the back for. Ugh. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, sir. You see, he wasn't used to wearing the king's armor, and he wasn't used to fighting. He didn't train with that stuff like the king did. Listen, I want you to know today, I am not here to ask anybody to do what I signed up to do. I know that you didn't train with this stuff. I know that you don't have the hours that I have wearing that heavy gear and doing certain things. But I do want you to know this. What you have is what you need to get through any disaster situation you will face. You have already been being prepared from birth to defeat an enemy that you didn't even know you were about to face. And I know this person, when he went into the king's throne, he said, King, I've already got the tools I have. You know what this young man did? I'm sure you know the end of the story. He walked out to that enemy, and with just a sling and a stone, he saved the entire kingdom. Whoops. He saved the entire kingdom, and I want you to know that you already have the tools you need to get through any disastrous situation you are going to face in your life. My job today is to maybe help you think a little bit about what these tools are, what you've already been trained in, and how you can use them if you get into a situation that you need to. So we'll talk a little bit today about some of the responses that you're going to go through. If you get into any disastrous situation, your body is going to go through things that you cannot control. We'll talk a little bit about them. We'll go through some of the stages that you'll face. We'll talk about what an event might look like and how we should respond to this. So there's three things that are going to happen to your body. If you get into any disastrous situation, you will go through denial, deliberation, and decisive movement. I don't care how well you're trained or what you've been through, your body goes through this stuff and you can't control it. Let's talk about it just a little bit. The first thing you're going to go through is what we call denial. Denial is when you hear something and you really start denying that it's going to happen. The first thing you go through is what we call our normalcy bias. Your normalcy bias is when you start relating what you're seeing or what you're hearing to normal, everyday events. So right now, if we heard a loud bang inside this building, we would start thinking, oh, maybe somebody tipped a chair over in the back. Somebody dropped a book, or somebody dropped their cell phone. Something happened, but it's no big deal. That's your normalcy bias kicking in. You start relating it to normal, everyday things. The next thing that happens is what we call social proofing. Social proofing is when we begin to look around and we try to see how other people that are hearing or seeing the same thing are responding to what you just saw or heard. Here's the problem with social proofing. We all know that one kind of crazy person that every time they hear something, it's a big deal, and the sky is falling no matter what it is, and we look over and we see them going crazy like normal, and we're like, oh, that's just the way they are, and then we start looking at other people. Here's the problem with denial. It slows down our reaction time. Here's what you need to know about time. The average time it takes for the police to respond to any disastrous situation is 3 minutes. 3 minutes is a long time. I can tell you in the city, I'm one of the guys that train our officers on responding to these incidents, And when we train, we strategically have officers throughout the city. And when we put off one of these trainings, we have them respond just normal driving where they're not allowed to run lights and sirens because we want to see how long it takes them to get to where we are. In the city, it's under a minute. And we know if they turn on their fancy lights and drive faster than the speed limit, that they're going to be there probably within 30 seconds. If you're outside the city of Watertown, God help you. It's going to be longer than 3 minutes sometimes before help arrives. If the state or the county units are in Adams and they have to respond to Antwerp, it's going to take longer than 3 minutes, no matter how fast they drive to get there. So what you do matters. Here's what you need to know about all this stuff when it goes on. The only thing that's going to stop the chaos and stop it when we arrive, that's our job, is to end all this craziness. The second thing is the number of available targets. So here's something very deep. You might really have to think about this. If you're not there, you can't die. It's deep. If you're not there, you can't die. So one of the big rules we talk about is how do we make ourselves unavailable? How do we get out of the situation? We'll talk about how we make ourselves unavailable in just a minute. So once you get through denial, you go into what we call deliberation. This is when we start deciding on what are we going to do. Here's the problem with deliberation. Stress affects your heart, and it affects your heart rate. In my world, this is how we break it down to kind of make sense of what happens when you start elevating your heart rate. When you're at about 60 beats per minute, we call this condition white. This is when you are in your safe place. This is when you're comfortable. This is when you can think, you can solve problems, you can figure things out. All of a sudden you hear something and your senses begin a little more heightened. So your heart rate starts to increase. You go up to condition yellow, you get up to about 90 beats per minute. This is when you start losing some of your fine motor skills. You probably won't be able to button a shirt. You probably will not be able to take a key and put it in a lock and lock the door at about 90 beats per minute. Then you become more heightened because things are getting a little more serious. You go to what we call condition red. You get up to about 120 beats per minute. This is when your body starts to go into life-saving mode. Your brain is starting to tell your body, like, things are not good. We need to start preserving our stuff. It starts sending blood to all your major organs. Condition red, not a great place to stay, but not a bad place to be if you're trained. First responders, military personnel, we train a lot in condition red. We are stronger, we're faster. We can do things that normally you couldn't do because adrenaline's kicking in condition red. So when you get here, you can do some things if you're trained or you think about these. Doctors tell us it's not a great place to live. It's not really good for your heart to stay there a long time. That's probably why our life expectancy is like 30 years less than a normal person, because we're here too often in our line of work. But once you even become more heightened, you go up to condition gray, which is about 150 beats per minute. You lose some of your bigger motor muscles in this condition. You start getting what we call auditory exclusion. This is where everybody sounds like the Peanuts teacher. All you're hearing is wah, 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 wah when people are talking. You get tunnel vision where you focus on one thing and you pay attention to nothing else. Condition gray, you are starting to get pretty overwhelmed in your environment. Then you move on to what we call condition black. Condition black, you're pretty much overwhelmed. This is where we put it politely and say most people will avoid their bowels and make a mess for somebody else to clean up. In condition black, you usually just freeze and do absolutely nothing. We talk about this because our goal is knowing that our heart rate is getting up here. Our goal is to try to get it back down to condition white as fast as we can so that we can start thinking again. Because when you're up in condition gray, condition black, you don't think. You're not solving problems. You're not figuring things out. You just do something, and a lot of people just do nothing. So what do we do with this? How do we keep going? Here's how I do it. This makes sense in my world. Hopefully it's simple enough. If you're a psychologist, this might be really simple. If you're on my line of psychology, hopefully it makes sense. So I break the brain into two separate things. You've got your human brain, which your human brain can solve problems. You can figure things out. You're thinking. You're in condition white. Human brain is working pretty well. Then you have what I call lizard brain. Stay with me. Lizard brain is real. If you have kids or a significant other, you have seen lizard brain. It is a real thing. You know, when my wife asks me to do something and I'm just like, huh? Or I ask my kids and they give me that same look. Listen, when lizard brain kicks in, there's no thinking. There is no processing stuff. You're not figuring things out in lizard brain. Lizard brain does one thing. It just reacts. But here's the thing to know about your lizard brain. Your lizard brain can be pre-programmed by your human brain. So this makes very good sense. All the stuff, all these fancy tools and gear that we wear and we train with and do stuff, I have programmed my lizard brain so when my stress level and my heart rate increases to condition red, gray, and black, I don't think about all this stuff. I just react. And I can do it without thinking. I've trained my lizard brain so much that I just respond to certain things. And then my goal is to regain human brain so I can start thinking and figuring things out. In my world, we call this, we practice like it's real. So when it's real, it's like practice. You may have heard it called muscle memory. So this is where you can start training your lizard brain so that when you get into a situation that you're unfamiliar with or it starts taking over, your heart rate starts to increase and all this stuff, you can just respond to pre-programmed actions that you figured out while you were in your safe place. We're going to talk about how to do that in just a little bit. So how do we regain some of the control? I'm just going to skip through some of this if it lets me. There we go. Some of the control and how do we get our lizard brain out and get our human brain back engaged. We have to learn to calm ourselves down. There's not always going to be a coach standing next to you saying, you got this, breathe, do this. We've got to learn to do this ourselves at times. We've got to learn to encourage ourselves. We've already got what we need to get through this, and we're going to get through it. Combat breathing works really well, but I'm going to tell you it's not like Lamaze. You're not just going to sit there and one day and, when it happens and you'll get through it. It takes a lot of practice. The more I train, the more I do combat breathing. When I'm working out, I will purposely get my heart rate up to about 170, 180 beats per minute, and I combat breathe to try to get it back down to about 70, 80, 90 beats per minute as fast as I can. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I can probably do it in about 20 to 35 seconds to get back down to that level. And I can tell you it hurts. Your body's screaming, your lungs are burning, things are going on, and you're trying to think about how to breathe. And it takes some practice. It works well if you want to take the time to practice and train it. One of the easy things you can do is shift your emotions, just realizing that you've got this. And the one that we're going to hit big on is mental scripting. How do we train our lizard brain? So things that we can do in deliberation. How do we script? How do we practice this stuff? This is where decisive movement comes in. This is where we decide what are we going to do, how are we going to do it. Let me tell you quickly, these events that are taking place all over, we've already had some. At the beginning of 2024, we've already had active shooter events take place in our country. And there's more and more threats that are being brought up all over the place. Even locally, I've been dealing with some threats this morning just as I was on my way here and trying to get some things taken care of. So this stuff is out there, obviously, and we, like your pastor said, do not want to become the people of, we weren't prepared, or I can't believe that happened here. So things to know about with this stuff. These people, as much as we prepare, so do they. People ask me, do I think 9/11 is going to happen again? I don't believe it, because as much as we are prepared now for a 9/11 event, do you think they've changed their tactics? They have. They're not coming out and trying to do huge things like that. They're hitting events now instead of trying to attack a whole nation at one time. They will infiltrate in if they do that, blah, blah, blah. Most of the time, we are not seeing a lot of terroristic things in huge scale right now. A lot of it is just everyday, average people. The next person could be sitting here in this place. So how do we prepare? How do we get ready? understanding what this definition is, the only thing we need to know about this is it's one or more persons engaged in harming as many people as they can as fast as they can. So we get through this, just know that there is no profile. They've got a mindset. The only thing I want you to know about this is I like to talk to people. I like to try to solve problems with people. When it comes to these events, there is no talking to people. They've already made their minds up, and statistics show that 100% of the time that somebody has tried to engage these people and tried to talk them out of it, the person has died 100% of the time. So we're beyond the talking scope at this point. We're beyond the, oh, we're here to help you. Just know also that usually over 50% of the time there's a connection to the place and the person. These are not normally random acts. Usually there's a wrong, this person thinks this is the best way to make it right, which is crazy in my mind. But that's how people think. That's how they're responding to some of this stuff. Even in churches that this has happened to, they have not been random events. The one that happened in Texas, what ended up being a pastor was counseling a couple, and the guy didn't like how the counseling was going. So unbeknownst to the pastor and his wife, he waited till Sunday morning service and showed up and did what he thought was best to do in front of the whole church. So it wasn't a random act that somebody just showed up here and did it. It was a person that was very familiar with the church and everything that was going on in it. So how do we respond to these events? This is the old-fashioned hide and hope. If anybody is hearing anything about this, I teach this all over the place. I do this a lot in schools to administration and school officials. If anybody is being taught this in schools, let me know so I can stop this immediately. We do not teach anybody to hide under a desk anymore or just hope that they don't get found. In this position, there's nothing you can do, and people die 100% of the time if they're found like this. So we do not teach the old hide and hope anymore. We now teach a few simple things. We call this ADD. It's simply avoid, deny, defend. Simple 3 things that you can do to get through any of these situations. Avoid people from getting to where you are. Know this. We tell people if you're not hearing anything, the safest place is where you are. Taking that a little further, if we heard bang, bang in the back of the church right now, the best place to be is not in this building, correct? We get the heck out of here. You have doors all over the place to get out of this building. That's something we need to think about. Secondary exits. So here's the problem with this. Most of the time, when we leave today, I guarantee you're probably going to leave the same way you entered this building, right? Right through that back door. That's where most of you came in. When the service is over, you will all walk right out that back door the same way you came in. We don't think about secondary exits. So if something were to happen right now, if you start smelling smoke, what would most of us probably do? We would, because we've been pre-programmed since pre-K to deal with fire alarms, right? If the fire alarm went off in here, would anybody get excited? I doubt it. But listen, we just had the fire alarm at the police station go off a few weeks ago. You know what we all did? We all sat in our offices. And the chief had to come around and tell us to get out of the building. We were like, really, chief? It's raining out. Do we have to go outside? We know this is fake. Nobody got excited. Not at all. I'm sure the same thing would happen. If we hear a fire alarm, we're going to look around like somebody's going to shut that off, and we wouldn't even respond to it. Just because we're so used to doing it. Even if we did see smoke or flames, we would still probably get up and in a single file line, calmly and slowly, walk to the exit, right? Because that's what we've been doing all through school. They teach you this all the time. We don't think about how else can we get out of a building or a place if that's where we are. There was an event that took place, I believe it was in Ohio some years ago. This concert kicked off in this auditorium, and the band said, hey, we're going to do pyrotechnics because it would be really cool. We'll kick off our show like that. Fire marshal said, no, you'll catch the place on fire. You can't do it. They said, okay. And then the show starts. There's like 800 people in the crowd, and what'd the band do? They kicked off with pyrotechnics like they weren't supposed to. What do you think happened? The building caught fire, just like the fire marshal said. So the building's burning down. People are starting to now see the smoke, see the flames, and what did they do? They started going out the same way they all came in. Well, guess what? The exit got plugged. Some people fell, they couldn't get through, and what did people do? They lined up and waited for this exit to unplug. There was windows in the auditorium just like this that people could have got out of, but they stood in line. Then somebody in the middle turns around and says, "Oh, them bright red exit signs. We can go there." So a few of them walked over there, and there was one behind the stage where the band was. The guy walks up to it, and he goes, "We're going out that exit." There was a bouncer standing there and said, "This is for band members only." You know what these people did? They got back in line. Over 730 people burned to death in this building because they didn't think of secondary exits. Listen, if that was me and the band member said that, I probably would have done some bad things to them and just went out the exit. You've got to think of secondary exits. When it comes to life or death or saving yourself or others, all the rules go out the window. I don't care if the church gets mad that I broke their window and they're going to have to replace it later on. We will break the window and get out, or get out some other way than just that way. So you've got to think about these secondary exits. If you don't pre-program that lizard brain and all of a sudden chaos takes place, you're going to do exactly what you trained. You're just going to go out the same place that you came in. So think about secondary exits. When you're thinking about these exits, think about the doors. Which way do they open? Which way do they shut? If this door pushes open, which they all do you think it would be, if we had to stay in this place, could we secure these doors so nobody could get in here? These, I'm sure you could, because they're probably already locked from the outside. So people are going to have a hard time getting in. But if you're in a room and the door swings out, are there things we can do to secure that? There's things you just have to think about. For instance, quickly, the tops, they have them little arms on these doors. If you tie a rope or a belt around that, it stops the door from opening. Pretty simple thing to do. Or if you had a cowbell on your drum set, I don't know if you do or not, take that cowbell and slide it over the top of there. That would stop it. You need more cowbell. So things you need to think about. But if you don't pre-program that lizard brain to think about this stuff, you never will be prepared, and you will just freeze or do absolutely nothing. So when it comes to the last part of this, defending ourselves, this is where we get into our big amendments. Should we all carry guns? Should everybody have the right to carry a gun in church or at your workplace or wherever you are? Does your employer allow you to bring a gun to work? I can say for the most part, I've been doing this a long time, most employers don't. I laugh because they make us go through training every year at the city of workplace violence, and it starts out with, we should not bring guns to work. It's a wrong place to tell us. We have all kinds of guns where I work. So it's funny, but they push it that much where they don't want anybody doing it. That's a whole nother topic for another day. I usually get some feedback from the audience on this and see how many people are for it and who are against it and all this stuff. We're not going to do that today to save time, but just know there's probably people in here that carry, and you have no idea about it. I laugh because a lot of people think that because of my job that I carry 24 hours a day, and all the time. I do carry off duty quite a bit, but there are times that I don't. When I'm doing certain things, if I'm preaching and I'm trying to get close with people, I don't really want this on my side because my brain is in a whole different world when I'm carrying this. I'm cognizant of how I'm standing with people. When people get close to me, I know that there's now a gun involved in the situation and I have to be prepared to retain this thing and do other things. So I'm not too comfortable getting people close and hugging people and all that when I've got this on me. So there are times that I don't purposely bring it, but I know that I've snuck one in my wife's purse or someone else has got one that I could get to pretty readily if I needed to. So there's probably other people here that carry just normally and all that stuff. They do it a lot. If you don't have it, again, you have other tools at your disposal to defend yourself if you need to. Know this, these people are expecting us to hide and hope. They're not expecting you to do anything to protect yourself or anyone else. Ladies, if your purse or satchel is anything like my wife's, you have more weapons in that thing than we carry on the SWAT team. My wife's got this static hairspray stuff so her hair doesn't stick to her jacket. That and a lighter is a mini blowtorch. You could light anybody up with that. Just spraying that alone in somebody's face will stop them from doing a lot of stuff. So think about tools that you have. The only thing I let people know is if you carry something that you're going to use to defend yourself, know how it works. Practice a little bit with it. Know what it does. Pepper spray is totally legal now. The stuff that I carry is like 80%. The stuff that the public carries is like 10%. Been hit with both. They're both horrible. I don't know what the difference is. Hot is hot. They are terrible. So whatever it is, but know if you're carrying pepper spray, how it works. Does it freeze? Will it explode in your car in the middle of summer when it gets 180 degrees in there? Or when you go to use it and it's been outside at 20 below, is it actually going to come out of the end? I will tell you that it may not. I was working nights. We had a big bar fight. These guys were going at it. I'm stepping in. I'd been outside for like 15 minutes, and it was about 25 below out. I go up. They come towards me. I pull my pepper spray out and went, ah, and it went, did absolutely nothing. So if I wasn't trained and I didn't practice for that to happen, I would have just went, ah, and froze and done absolutely nothing. I didn't. I threw the whole can at their face, enough to distract them where I could get them in handcuffs and do what I had to do. But that's where you've got to know, what is this? What am I going to do if this doesn't work? Is there something else I could do? Pepper spray, anytime I pull that fancy canister off my belt, I wait to feel a breeze come across the back of my neck. If I don't feel that breeze, I'm not pushing the button. It's aerosol. And if that breeze is hitting me in the face and I push that button, guess where it's all going? Right back in my face. If you don't practice that or think about it, you will just be a spraying fool, and you will spray yourself and everybody included if you have to use it. So if there is something that you're going to use, know how it works. Practice with it, manipulate it a little bit, test it out, not on people, hopefully, but see what it does when you use it if you're going to use something. So you don't always need the tool of a firearm. There are other things you can do. So we're going to skip Virginia Tech for now, but just know this, like I said at the beginning, what you have is what you need to get through this. You're not helpless. You're not hopeless. What you do does matter. Real quick, I just want to tell you things to look for when we arrive. Our job is to stop chaos and get everybody through this stuff. But know this, we are probably not going to be the most friendliest people you ever meet on these days. We do not know who the bad guy is. So we are not going to come in and throw everybody against the wall and do all kinds of crazy stuff. We are just going to give short, concise commands. The big one is probably going to be hands. You will probably hear us say that a billion times. Hands, hands, hands. Let me see your hands. We know, unlike my wife who's got that look that can knock me down in a second, it's not the eyes that are hurting people, it's the hands. And that's all we're probably going to be asking people to show us. This isn't the time to say, I got a picture on my phone right here. If you do that, bad things will probably happen to you. But just show us your hands is probably all we are going to be yelling for the most part. All right. So I usually reserve this time to take some questions, comments, or if you have thoughts about this building or about any other places that you're at, or where you could be, or what you could do in certain things. I don't want to take a ton of everybody's time, so I'm thinking, Pastor, I might just hang out in the back just to save some time, and if you have questions, I will hang out in the back. You come talk to me. Know this, that you already have what you need to get through these situations. You've been prepared, you've been trained, but I hope you just got a little bit of thoughts rolling in your head like, what would I do in this situation? How can I train my lizard brain so I'm more prepared to react in a certain way instead of just trying to figure it out on the fly? Thank you for your time. God bless you, and we will be around.
Awesome. Now you guys know why I'm never offensive or controversial when I'm speaking, because I don't want to cause any problem. Wait, I should think about that for a second. So one of the things that Shane was doing this morning, just kind of looking around the building and kind of pre-evaluating the building. They're going to be doing a security assessment on the building. They're going to be giving us some advice on what we need to be doing down the road to kind of make things as safe as possible, but at the same time without interrupting what we're doing. So in the future, you'll see different things change within the building, but the whole idea is that we want to be aware of what's going on in the culture, but also enough freedom in the building to do what we need to do. Yeah, you understand what I mean? So let's see. So Shane's going to be in the back, and we'll if you have any questions, please go talk to him. He actually did mention this morning that he was really, really happy about how many doors we have in this building, which we hate, because we have 19 doors in this building. It's like, fire, the building's empty in like 18 seconds. That's fine, it's just great, as long as there's no snow in front of them, but we're usually pretty good about that. But so there's a whole lot that will be happening. Just so that you parents know, coming down the road, one of the things that we are looking at is a child check-in service. We're going to be doing some testing on that to see what works the quickest, and all that is basically we stamp your kid with a barcode, sort of an antichrist thing, and then we just do the price gun with them. No, it's a way to make sure that the same person dropping the kid off in the back is the same person picking him up. Little things like that. Because there have been some incidents that have caught our attention in that mindset. But this is the idea. We want to be as open as possibly can and as welcoming as we possibly can, but also not dumb about what we're doing. So that's why we're walking through this. Talk to Shane today, and thanks for being here. We'll see y'all next week. Lord bless you. Have a great afternoon.